Chosen one, listen closely. What you are about to hear may unsettle you, but it is exactly what your spirit needs. This isn't a coincidence. If you found this message, God brought you here on purpose. You are being called higher. Higher in wisdom, higher in discernment, higher in purpose. But before you can rise, there is something you need to stop right now. Stop handing your sacred dreams to people who were never meant to carry them. Stop pouring your vision into hearts that were never aligned with yours. God is warning you. Not everyone who smiles at you is safe. Not everyone clapping is for you. Do not give what is holy to dogs, nor cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn and tear you in pieces. Matthew 7-6. Some of you have felt the shift, the distancing, the quiet urge to withdraw. That is not rejection, that is protection. God is answering your prayers by separating you from the ones who would sabotage what is next. You don't owe everyone access. This season is sacred. Your blessings are real, they are near, but the wrong presence can delay divine timing. So here is what I want you to do. If you are ready to guard your spirit, protect your peace, and honor what God is building in you, type Amen in the comments right now. Let it be a declaration, a line drawn in the sand, a holy yes to the next level. And don't go anywhere, because before this message ends, we will pray together. And I promise, it will shift something in your soul. And now, let's go deeper. There is a reason your journey doesn't look like anyone else's, because it was never meant to. God wrote your path with divine precision, tailored to your soul, your calling, and your purpose. But here is what many don't realize. Not everything God reveals to you is meant to be shared. The moment you speak too soon, you risk inviting energies that weren't assigned to your mission. The dreams you carry, the visions you receive, they are holy. And holiness demands discernment. It is not about secrecy, it is about spiritual stewardship. Even Jesus often withdrew to lonely places to pray. Luke 5:16. Withdrawal wasn't avoidance. It was alignment. In silence, he received strength for his next assignment. Sometimes the greatest act of power is not to speak at all, because silence is where clarity lives. It protects you from opinions that dilute your direction, from voices that were never meant to shape your vision. There will be people who don't understand your calling. Some will project their doubt onto it, others may envy it. But none of that matters when your soul stays anchored in the stillness of God's presence. The world shouts, but heaven whispers. When you feel the urge to explain yourself, to prove your purpose, remember, revelation without preparation can become destruction. God will never ask you to announce what he is still refining in private. Think of Joseph. When he shared his dreams too early, it stirred jealousy in his own brother's jealousy that threw him into a pit before his promise could bloom. His destiny was real, but the timing of the telling nearly cost him everything. This is why God calls his chosen to periods of quiet to protect the oil before it is poured. Silence is your shield. The less you speak, the more you hear. The less you explain, the more you understand. In the quiet, God prepares, he strengthens, he positions. And when the time comes to speak, you will know, because the words will not come from pressure or fear, but from peace. Until then, keep sacred what is sacred. Let the world wonder, let them question. You don't owe your process to anyone. What God is doing in you is holy, and holiness doesn't need validation. Some things must be protected in silence until they are strong enough to stand in the light. The urge to share, to explain your dreams, your revelations, your spiritual encounters, is human. But spiritual maturity means learning when to speak and when to guard the flame. Just as a newborn tree needs shelter from the wind, your purpose needs time to grow roots before it faces the world. Speak too soon. and the winds of misunderstanding, judgment, or envy can uproot what God is still nurturing in you. In Ecclesiastes 3-7, we are reminded, there is a time to be silent and a time to speak. Wisdom is knowing the difference. When you reveal your spiritual treasures before their time, you risk more than misunderstanding, you risk distortion. Those who aren't aligned with your spirit may respond with confusion, skepticism, or even quiet resentment. And if you are not deeply grounded, their energy can shake your confidence. Doubt creeps in. You begin to question what was once clear, and suddenly your soul is burdened not by your calling, but by the weight of other people's projections. Your calling isn't up for debate. Your visions weren't meant for mass approval. They were whispered to you by God in the quiet, in the dark, in the stillness. Protect them like sacred scrolls, not public announcements. Think of the prophet Daniel. God gave him visions, mysteries of heaven and future kingdoms. But not everything was to be revealed at once. But you, Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book until the time of the end. Daniel 12-4. Even Daniel, with all his wisdom and favor, was told to wait. Timing matters in the kingdom. Spiritual insight is fragile when it is fresh. Like clay in the potter's hands, it must be shaped before it can be shown. If exposed too soon, it dries cracked, unfinished. So guard what is sacred. Let your dreams take shape in silence. Let your soul process what it has been given before the world gets a glimpse. Your vulnerability too is holy. It is not weakness, it is truth in its rawest form. But when shared with those who cannot hold it gently, it becomes an open wound. Be careful who you bleed in front of, even well, meaning people can mishandle what they don't understand. There is a kind of spiritual noise that drowns the voice of God, not external, but internal. The noise of overexposure, of trying to be understood by everyone. Silence clears that space. It tunes your spirit to the frequency of heaven. The moon never demands attention, yet it lights the night. So must your purpose shine quietly, steadily, without needing to be announced. The world doesn't need your explanation. It needs your alignment, and God will unveil your mission at the appointed time. Not one moment sooner, not 1 second late. And now, beloved, here is where this message becomes more than just revelation. It becomes a way of life. Understanding the need for spiritual discretion is one thing, but living it, that is where transformation begins. This isn't about hiding, it is about honoring. Honoring the sacred work God is doing within you by protecting it with reverence and wisdom. God isn't only calling you to know the truth, He is calling you to practice it moment by moment. Discretion starts small in everyday choices. It begins when someone casually asks, "What is next for you?" And you feel that familiar pull to explain. But this time, you pause. You take a breath. And instead of rushing into explanation, you silently pray, "Lord, guard my tongue, and protect what you are building in me." That pause isn't hesitation. It is spiritual alignment. Let stillness become your response, not from fear, but from trust. Trust that what God is doing doesn't need defending. It just needs time. Before the world starts spinning each day, take 10 minutes to be still. No distractions, no phone, no agenda. Just you and the Father in the quiet. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." That stillness becomes your sanctuary, your strength. It is where your soul gets recalibrated, where clarity returns, where burdens lift. Keep a journal, not for anyone else to read, but for you and God alone. Write down your prayers, your whispers, your questions, your breakthroughs. These pages become holy ground, like the tablets Moses carried down from Mount Sinai. They carry the weight of private revelation. You don't need to speak everything aloud to know it is real. Some truths are strengthened in silence as your day unfolds. Become fiercely protective of your spirit. Notice who drains you. Notice where your peace disappears. If a space makes you feel spiritually small, you don't owe it your presence. Jesus himself often withdrew to lonely places to pray. Luke 5:16, not out of weakness, but because even he, carrying the weight of the world, knew the importance of protecting his spirit. Not every conversation requires your insight. Not every question deserves your answer. And when the temptation comes to overshare, whether in conversation or online, remind yourself, my silence is not emptiness. It is sanctuary. You are not withholding out of fear. You are protecting what is holy. Let your purpose bloom underground, like a seed, until God says. Now, even your praise doesn't always need an audience. When blessings flow, learn to thank God in secret before announcing it to the world. In Matthew 6:6, Jesus taught, but when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then, your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. There is a deep spiritual power in private worship. The world sees the outcome, but heaven saw the tears, the prayers, the obedience in the dark. So live this daily. Speak less. Listen more. Withdraw when your peace is disturbed. Write instead of explain. Praise in private. Choose silence, not as retreat, but as sacred resistance to the noise. And over time you will notice a shift. Your discernment sharpens. You sense when to speak and when to simply be. You walk with more intention, more clarity, more power. This is how the chosen walk, not with loud declarations, but with quiet strength, with the wisdom to know when to speak and when to protect, with a heart tuned to heaven and a spirit shielded by grace. You don't need to announce what God is doing. You just need to stay aligned while He does it. This is where the journey deepens. Living in step with divine timing means trusting that not every truth is meant to be spoken the moment it is known. Some wisdom is too weighty for premature release. God doesn't ask for silence to punish you. He asks for it to protect you from distortion, from doubt, from the interference of voices not equipped to carry what He has entrusted to your spirit. We often think of God's anger as wrath, but sometimes it is a fierce, loving redirection. Like a shepherd pulling his lamb from the edge of a cliff, He intervenes when we are about to cast our purpose before those who cannot receive it. His not yet is not rejection. It is mercy. Think of Elijah, exhausted and overwhelmed, after calling down fire from heaven, running into the wilderness and begging for death. God didn't send thunder. He didn't shame Elijah for his fragility. He whispered. And after the fire came a gentle whisper, 1 Kings 19:12. In that whisper, Elijah was restored. In that whisper, God redirected his mission. Silence gives birth to that kind of clarity. Your dreams, your revelations, your prophetic glimpses, these are not casual insights. They are divine blueprints given in trust. And, just like seeds planted in the ground, they require hiddenness to grow. Exposure too early can damage what would have flourished in secret. Even Mary, the mother of Jesus, received a world-shaking prophecy about her son. But what did she do? But Mary kept all these things and pondered them in her heart. Luke 2:19. She didn't run to explain or justify. She carried the word with reverence, allowing it to unfold in time. There is wisdom in knowing that not everyone can understand what God has whispered to you. When we speak from a place of pressure, trying to justify our existence, our calling, we risk disconnecting from the very source that gave it. Your spiritual life needs boundaries. It is the wellspring from which everything flows. When too many voices crowd in, when too much is shared without discernment, the flame starts to flicker. That is why silence isn't weakness. It is spiritual preservation. Hold your mystical experiences with care. Protect your divine conversations. Trust that the world doesn't need to hear every sacred detail to believe in your calling. Some things are meant to transform you first before they ever touch someone else. In solitude, you reconnect with God, not through noise or performance, but through presence. It is there your discernment sharpens, your peace deepens, and your purpose becomes unmistakably clear. The Psalms say, "He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul." Psalm 23-23. It is in stillness that your strength is renewed. You don't have to announce what is growing inside you. God is not in a hurry, and neither should you be. When the time is right, what He has planted will bloom in full power, and the world will see not because you shouted, but because you remained rooted. So walk with quiet confidence. Let the silence protect your truth, not because it is fragile, but because it is holy. Guard your dreams. Keep your revelations sacred. Let your spirit mature in secret until God decides it is time to bring it into the light. And when that day comes, your purpose will not need explanation. It will speak for itself. The power of silence goes far beyond withholding words. It creates sacred ground where your soul can breathe, grow, and commune deeply with the divine. In stillness, you gain clarity that noise could never provide. It is not about shutting the world out, but about tuning into something higher, deeper, and eternal. In silence, your spirit aligns with God's rhythm. Too often, we are tempted to speak before we are ready to reveal visions still in their infancy, but when you share too soon, you risk clouding divine wisdom with the noise of human opinion. External voices can distort what God has spoken in the quiet of your heart. That is why true spiritual strength isn't always found in expression, but in restraint. Silence is not isolation. It is sanctuary. It is the sacred space where purpose takes form slowly and powerfully. Think of Moses, who spent 40 days in the wilderness, not speaking to crowds, but encountering God alone. His face would later shine with glory, but the glow was born in solitude. When you honor silence, you honor the divine flow that is shaping your life. You allow your purpose to grow roots before it is revealed. God's timing is flawless, even when it feels delayed. Ecclesiastes 3:11 reminds us, He has made everything beautiful in its time, and that includes your calling. It is natural to feel the pressure to prove yourself, to announce your dreams before they have matured. But divine purpose doesn't need validation. Like a seed buried in the soil, your vision must remain hidden for a season. If you force it into the light too early, it withers. Use this time wisely. Don't rush to be seen. Prepare to be ready. Deepen your spiritual disciplines. Strengthen your inner life. Stay rooted in prayer and silence. These quiet preparations are not wasted. They are the foundation for everything to come. Your dreams are not random. They are sacred blueprints, but they are also fragile in the beginning. If entrusted to those who aren't ready to understand, they may be met with doubt, fear, or ridicule. And those energies, even unintentionally, can interfere with the purity of your calling. True strength is quiet. It listens more than it speaks. In silence, you draw wisdom from a deeper well one the world cannot access. Proverbs 17:27 says, "The one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered." This is how you protect your path. Solitude is not punishment. It is preparation. Many of the chosen walk alone, not because they are forgotten, but because they are being formed. Jesus often withdrew to pray in lonely places. Paul wrote his most powerful letters from prison cells. Revelation doesn't always come with applause. It often arrives in the quiet. When you walk in solitude, you shed the noise of expectation. You begin to see yourself as God sees you, not defined by roles or labels, but by identity. Solitude strips away the illusion so that truth can rise. And yes, the world is loud. It pulls at you with distractions, temptations, and false urgency. But your focus is your defense. Distraction is one of the enemy's most subtle tools. It doesn't always come as sin. It often comes as busyness, noise, or comparison. Stay watchful, stay grounded, stay in the quiet, because it is in that sacred silence where your purpose strengthens, your dreams clarify, and your spirit grows into the full measure of who God has called you to be. Distraction doesn't always come loud and obvious. It often arrives disguised, cloaked in opportunity, masked as good advice, or dressed in the voices of well-meaning people. But if the direction they offer isn't aligned with your divine assignment, it becomes a detour, not guidance. To stay anchored, you must cultivate discernment, the ability to hear through the noise and recognize the still, quiet voice of God within. Proverbs 3-6 reminds us, "In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." But submission requires stillness, and stillness requires intention. Not all distractions come from outside. Some rise from within. Self-doubt, fear, insecurity. These are the most dangerous because they sound like your own voice. They whisper, "You are not ready. You are not enough. Why bother?" But these are not truths. They are spiritual interference meant to shake your foundation. When these inner voices rise, pause. Ask yourself, does this align with the calling on my life? If not, gently return to your center. Boundaries are not just about protecting your time. They are about protecting your spirit. Create space around your calling. Guard it like a flame in the wind, and beware of envy both from others and within. Envy is a corrosive energy when directed at you. It can cloud your clarity, drain your vitality, and distort the lens through which you see your mission. When it rises within you, it blinds you to the beauty of your own path. Think of Cain and Abel. It wasn't just about sacrifice, it was about the heart behind it. Cain's envy led to destruction. Envy grows where gratitude dies. So when comparison tempts you, shift your gaze. Re-anchor yourself in your own journey, your own timeline, your own divine assignment. Protecting your purpose also means guarding your heart. It is the wellspring of your dreams and the home of your spiritual power. Vulnerability is beautiful, but only in safe hands. Just as you wouldn't place a priceless heirloom in the hands of someone careless, don't entrust your soul's treasures to those who cannot carry them with care. Your heart must remain whole, not scattered. When it is kept sacred, it becomes your compass, steady, bright, and unwavering. But when exposed too early, it is susceptible to harm. That is why silence and discernment are not walls. They are gates, opening only when it is safe, when it is wise, when it is time. At the center of all this is the quiet call, the divine pull you feel deep in your bones. It rarely shouts. It often comes as a whisper, a gentle stirring, a sacred invitation to walk a path that may not be clear, but is always holy. Answering that call requires trust, not in what you can see, but in the one who sees it all. It is stepping forward when the road is fogged, believing that with each step the light will rise to meet you. This is the journey of the chosen. It is not without fear, but it is filled with faith, and though the way may feel hidden, you are not walking alone. As Isaiah 30-21 promises, whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, "This is the way. Walk in it." Let that voice guide you. Let silence protect you. Let your heart remain sacred, and trust that your purpose is unfolding exactly as heaven intended. Before we close, I want to invite you into a moment of stillness, a sacred pause where we can pray together. Let this be more than words. Let it be a surrender, a realignment, a holy conversation between your spirit and the one who called you. Wherever you are, take a breath, quiet your mind, and receive this prayer. Heavenly Father, I come before you with an open heart, ready to be still, ready to listen, ready to align with your divine timing. Lord, thank you for calling me out of the noise and into the quiet, into the sacred space where you whisper purpose, identity, and destiny over my life. Thank you for reminding me that not everything must be shared, not everything must be seen, and not everything needs to be explained. I choose today to honor the hidden work you are doing in me. Father, help me to resist the pressure to prove myself. Teach me the strength of silence. Teach me to treasure what is holy, to protect what is still unfolding, and to guard the dreams you have planted deep within me. I surrender the urge to rush ahead of you. I lay down the burden of comparison, the fear of falling behind, and the need for outside approval. Your timing is perfect, and I trust it even when I don't understand it. Lord, give me wisdom to discern what to share, when to speak, and who is worthy of my vulnerability. Surround me with people who honor the sacred, who speak life, who encourage truth. And if you must remove those who cannot walk with me into what is next, I release them in peace. I choose obedience over popularity, intimacy with you over applause from man. Protect my heart from the spirit of envy, both the envy directed toward me and the envy that tries to grow within me. Cleanse me from the need to compare. Teach me to celebrate others while staying faithful to my own journey. Remind me that you have written a unique story for me, one that will unfold in beauty and power if I simply stay aligned. Father, help me recognize distractions both from within and around me, whether it is fear, insecurity, doubt, or the wrong counsel. I ask for clarity. Let your voice be louder than every lie. Let your peace be the confirmation I follow. Strengthen me to protect my energy, to guard my calling, and to keep my eyes fixed on you in the quiet. I know you are moving. In the waiting, I know you are working. And in the hidden place, I know you are preparing me for what is greater than I can imagine. Thank you, God, for choosing me, for trusting me with this mission. I will not take it lightly. I will not waste the silence. I will wait on you, not in fear, but in faith. Let my life be proof that what is grown in secret will bloom in power when you say the time is right. In Jesus' holy name I pray, amen. If this prayer met you in a deep place today, if it gave you peace, clarity, or confirmation, leave a comment below with the words, "I will wait in silence until God says go." I want to stand in faith with you as you walk this sacred path. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a word that might be meant just for you. Until next time, stay grounded, stay aligned, and stay close to the quiet where God speaks.